I created my Giro d'Italia Velogames team with very little experience in Velogames before. It's fair to say it didn't go great. I finished in the bottom half of our league. Again, we're going to do a Tour de France Velogames league today. Hopefully I've learned how not to win, but hopefully I've learned how to lose, so I know how not to do that this time around at the Tour de France. So let's make our Tour de France 2021 Velogames team. So skimming through the riders, obviously we have Tadej and Primoz, the two most expensive riders. Tadej as defending champion, just above Primoz in the price list though. Then we have Geraint Thomas, Alaphilippe, Carapaz, Wout van Aert as well as some of the most expensive. Van der Poel, only 12 credits, which is quite cheap if I'm instantly taking a look and giving my instant opinion right there. But of course we have every single rider at the Tour de France on this list. So we get 100 points in total to spread across our 9 riders in the race. Hopefully none of our guys withdraw, because that can really have a massive hit. I had Mikel Landa at the Giro. He withdrew on stage 5. Obviously, he was a big rider, and that cost me getting any kind of good Velogames score, basically. So hopefully, all of our riders stay in the race this time. But first, we have 2 climbers to select. So here we have Pogacar, Roglic, Geraint Thomas, for example. Looking through this list, we have quite a few cheap options as well. We have Nibali here at 8 credits, but my first option is going to be Primoz Roglic. Primoz Roglic is going to be our first rider. I'm going to make a full Tour de France predictions video later on, but I do have a feeling that Roglic, it could be his year this year at the Tour. So here's our first rider. Now, I would love to partner Roglic with Pogacar. Don't get me wrong, that would be absolutely splendid. Maybe Geraint Thomas, again, 18 credits. It's quite a lot after already spending 22 on Roglic, so I'm going to go for a budget option here. And one of the riders I think the Tour de France parcours suits quite well is Wilco Kelderman. At 10 points, I'm going to go with Wilco Kelderman. I think there are quite a few good options here. Enric Mas at 10 credits, for example. Even Bala Valverde. Chris Froome at 8 is maybe the most overpriced rider in this race, I would suggest. But yeah, I'm going to go with Wilco Kelderman at 10 credits. Bora Hansgrohe, I think this man should have a great opportunity, at least a top 10 at the Tour, and a top 5 definitely within his reach too. Next up, we have to select 2 climbers at the race. Alaphilippe and Carapaz are the most expensive at 16 credits instantly. We have Bookman, Yates, Gegenhardt as well. You can see the full list. Sepp Kuss at 10 points. Nairo Man as well at 10 credits. Soler too. But I think my first choice is going to be Julian Alaphilippe. Now, I was so close to picking Richard Carapaz here. I had him in for a little while. I have reverted to Julian Alaphilippe. Carapaz, I do think he'll end up being the Ineos Grenadiers leader. I think he'll probably have a good race as well. But Alaphilippe, surely he's going to win stages. I think he's won a stage at all 4 of his previous Grand Tour starts. So if he doesn't win a stage, I'll be shocked. He could go in the KOM jersey. He could even be in yellow for a little while as well. So Alaphilippe, I think, has to be in my team. And my second option, I'm going to go for a slightly cheaper rider, but a rider I think is definitely worth 10 credits. And that is David Gaudu, the leader of Groupama FDJ this season. No Thibaut Pinot at the Tour de France, of course. And I feel like even if Gaudu drops away in the GC, he has a great chance of going for stage wins. So he's either going to get a good result in the GC or potentially a stage win. Who knows, the polka dot jersey as well. So Gaudu isn't going to leave this race empty-handed, I feel. So at 10 credits, I'm going with Gaudu. Okay, next up we have 1 sprinter to select. And Wout van Aert is here, and also this is where we find Mathieu van der Poel. Not in the Dutch jersey. It's going to be weird to see him not in that Dutch Champions jersey at the Tour this year. Obviously Sagan, Ewan, you can see the cheaper options as well. Arnaud Demar, 10 points, fairly good option if you ask me. However, I'm going to go for what could be a bit of a bold decision here. I'm going to go for a rider worth 8 points. Mark Cavendish is here on 8, Laporte as well, but I will be going for Alex Aramburou. Now, he's not really a sprinter, which is kind of why I'm picking him. I feel like he's going to be in the breakaways a lot. Maybe he can pick up some points on the pure sprint stages, but I really like Aramburou here. I think he's going to be in a lot of breakaways, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see him pick up a stage win at his first Tour de France. So Aramburou is going in my team for 8 points. And next up, we have 3 unclassed riders to choose from. Mark Hirschi, they're only worth 8 points here. first to note. Then we have a bunch of riders at 6 points, as you can see, many at 4 points as well. So this is where you can save some of those all important credits, of course. I am going to go with Magnus Cort Nielsen. I feel like the EF rider, really strong. He won a race recently as well. So he won the final stage of La Route d'Occitanie, and when you see the parcours here, it was pretty steep uphill. Magnus Cort can win bunch sprints, but he is a very strong rider going uphill, and he can genuinely win on climbs and short hills. So I feel like Magnus Cort, really good shout to win from breakaways and even reduced sprints like he did at La Vuelta last season. He's won at the Tour de France before. What a rider, 6 points, I'm going for this man. Again, there are so many options you can pick here, and I feel like you get good value. Casper Asgreen at 6 points, for example, is against. We'll see what kind of form he's in. Omar Fraile, he's just won the Spanish National Championships. However, I will be going for a certain Soren Kragh Andersen of Team DSM, the winner of not one but 2 Tour de France stages just last season. And I feel like the Dane, when he's on his day, he is a superb option in both the time trial and also from breakaways. He's a really strong rider on the flats, good on multiple terrains, and yeah, Kragh Andersen. DSM don't really have a proper GC leader at this race. That's the first thing to note. If we take a look at their lineup, they have TS Benoot, really, and he's their only pure climber. Mark Donovan, he's not going to win the Tour de France this season. So Soren Kragh Andersen is going to be given a bunch of opportunities to go in the breakaway and try and pick up another stage win. So I feel like Kragh Andersen is really good value again. So looking for my final unclassed rider in this category, there are many options again, guys, making it super hard for me to choose, but I am going to go for a rider I enjoyed watching actually on the recent Movistar documentary. And that rider is Carlos Verona, a rider who is a strong mountain rider. He had a good opportunity on the stage Nons Peters won last year, where Zakarin descended like a goat. No Zakarin at this year's Tour de France, by the way. But yeah, Verona, he's really open to going in the breakaways, and I feel like that'll be his job again at this Tour de France to help Movistar in the Movistar team classification, of course, but also he could snag a stage somewhere, and I feel like at 6 points he's good value, will be in plenty of breakaways and could maybe steal a stage. And with that, we have 16 points available for one final wildcard rider. And for you guys who don't know what wildcard means, it essentially means a rider of any type. So we can pick a climber, stage racer, sprinter, whichever we like. So 16 points, we have Richard Carapaz here, already got Alaphilippe. I think you guys already know I'm going to have to go for Wout van Aert. We can't skip this, man. What a rider. I feel like he could be tied to Primoz Roglic a little bit, which does hurt his chances for sure of getting the green jersey, which he could do. And who knows, this man could even challenge for yellow if he's climbing at his best. But he can win the time trial, he can win sprints. Wout van Aert is a complete rider for sure, perhaps the most complete rider in the peloton today, and he's going in my team at 16 points for sure, even though he may be tied to Roglic a little more than he might like. There we go then. Primoz Roglic, Wilco Kelderman, Alaphilippe, Gaudu, Aaron Buru, Magnus Cort, Kragh Andersen, Carlos Verona and Wout van Aert are the 9 riders I go into battle in for this Tour de France. I didn't perform at the Giro, but it is the big one, of course. The Tour coming up, and I feel like I'm ready to bounce back. Quick note, we do have a league as well over on Velogames. The code to join is 115916623. So make sure you jump in there if you haven't already. If you were in the Giro League and you've created a Tour de France team on the same account, you shouldn't need to jump in again, but check with the code down below. I'll leave it on screen as well. Make sure you jump in the Discord server as well, guys, to discuss your team in there, as well as plenty of other things too. So I'll leave that link in the description as well. And it was Duarte who won our Giro d'Italia League last time around. I'll be keeping a keen eye on you, Duarte, to see if you can reproduce that performance at this Tour de France. My goal personally, I want to finish in the top half of the Timmsoski League. That's my goal. If I can get in the top half, I'll be happy. Didn't manage it at the Giro. That's the goal this time around. But guys, if you enjoyed this Velogames video, make sure you drop a like down below. Smash subscribe as well if you're new. Plenty more cycling and PCM content coming very soon. And I'll see you guys in the next one.